Thanks for tuning into this episode of Through Jeremiah's Eyes. Today I'm joined by a very impactful person in my life who is my freshman roommate here at NCANT. He helped me get acclimated to the campus life and just the area, as I'm from Virginia and he was from here in Greensboro. We actually just got back on campus to start this spring semester, and we're ready to see how the semester goes. Today we're going to be talking about the battle of fighting the expectations of others and pursuing what you really want in life, no matter what realm that may be. So, Will, if you could introduce yourself.
Yeah, that was a crazy introduction. That makes you feel really good and stuff. But, hey everybody. My name is Will Teasley. I'm a junior industrial system engineering student at the illustrious North Carolina A&T State University. But when he had told me that I had to come up with an introduction, I was thinking, like, at some point I want to be able to say, like, what I actually want to say rather than, the elevator pitch that they trained us to say here. But the introduction I want to give is, my name is Will, and I'm a photographer,
A photographer.
Yeah, I'm a photographer. My name is Will, and I'm a photographer.
What's your major?
Industrial systems engineering, which is as far away from photography as you could possibly get. But yeah, my name is Will. I'm from Greensboro. Been here for a little bit, and I'm excited to be on the podcast.
Thank you for joining me. Speaking of photography, that's one of your hobbies. What are some of your other hobbies and passions?
Man, look, photography, albeit, is my personal passion. That's the one that stuck with me for the longest time. But I've always had the desire to just do something creative. So sometime there, I was making rugs.
Which were hard.
Yeah, I appreciate you. I was making rugs. I do a lot of time watching movies, listening to music, just that normal stuff. But in terms of hobbies, I would say rugs and photography really took over my life once I made it to college.
And if you could drop everything, being fully financially stable, like not having to worry about money, anything, what avenue would you pursue? Would it be the photography?
Photography, absolutely. Being an industrial system engineering student, being a STEM student as it is, there's just a lot of expectations that you get based off of, the amount of money that you're supposed to make out of college, the amount of effort that you're supposed to put in college. And then, not to put us on blast like that, but we are both full ride. We're both full ride recipients of a scholarship. Yeah. And so, the expectation, which kind of goes into the entire point of this podcast, the expectation to be able to fulfill the requirements it takes to be a full ride student, and then the idea that somebody else could use that opportunity, that keeps you afloat, and that keeps that 3-5 looming over you to keep that money. But if I could pursue absolutely anything, I would love to be a content creator, be able to sit down and be able to, make the money I want to make, traveling the world, taking photos of just amazing people in amazing places, and, finalizing and crafting my own style around my personal hobbies. Oh, shucks. But yeah, that's me.
That was beautiful. And yeah, that whole scholarship piece about having the expectations, that I feel like that holds back a lot of people in what they want to do, because maybe our ideas or thoughts on what we want to do have changed, but we've been blessed with this opportunity. So it's like, you kind of feel obligated.
It's definitely an obligation, because I remember right when they announced who got it and everything, they sent us a little questionnaire, and they were like, what do you want to do with your degree? If you look back, I said I wanted to work in the automotive industry. I never wanted to work in the automotive industry. I never wanted to. But in terms of the expectations that are just over you, we are in an extremely privileged position. Yeah. And people would fight to be in this position, and I have nothing but respect, not only for the other people in my cohort and the people that put me in this position, but just as a student, having to not only fight your personal ambitions and what you kind of want to do for the rest of your life, and just the fear that if I don't get this 3.5, I would have wasted it. I think the idea of wasting it is what's most scary, and I think will resonate not only with students that are in similar positions to us, but just in general. Like, we're just scared. Like, the one vibe I can get based off of everybody, so we're just scared about entering the world that we're going into, how it is currently. Like, we are doing college in a global pandemic. And I was gonna fight not to bring that up, but it's kind of impossible at this point.
Yeah, we just got thrown into it freshman year.
Yeah, freshman year.
It started off so different than how it ended.
Cooling, and now the idea of like not being online just doesn't seem like realistic.
Yeah,
but we're going off topic. But I don't know. It's just a lot, and it's a heavy weight that's on every single student that I've ever talked to. It's just like, we want to have these massive ambitions, and we want to change the world, and we're at the number one HBCU, and we're here, and we're conscious, and we're like, yeah, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. And then somewhere along the line in these 4 years, while you're maturing and meeting all these new people, and getting all these brand new experiences in this brand new place,
start questioning and thinking about stuff.
Yeah, like, maybe I want to be a singer, and that's okay. That's perfectly fine. If you're passionate at singing, please do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
But it's always like, not can you, but should you, and that's scary.
Yeah, should you give? It's even like, I know so many people. I just know from our position of having full ride scholarships that had a debate so much about changing their major. Yeah. Because they found out that what they went into college doing or wanting to pursue wasn't actually what they thought it was, or it wasn't as interesting as something else that they got exposed to in college.
Right.
But that's one of the good things about college. You can go these different avenues, but it's like everybody was being constricted from what they wanted to pursue.
Yeah. Because
of the expectations of other people.
Yeah.
How do you...
I've known so many people that went through that battle of changing their majors, and I think that just comes from like you hear something and you hear like, this career makes a lot of money and this is what I did, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I actually spent this summer meeting a lot of people that like the jobs that they have now they absolutely love and just didn't line up with their academic careers in the slightest. Which I think is a scary thing too. Like, I've said scary so much, but like, it's scary too because it's like, how did you end up in that space and you were this major?
Yeah.
Like, how did A get to Z? Yeah. And so
it's advertised as like a straight shot, but that's not how it is.
Not at all. That's not how life works. And man, there's just so much. Like, there's so much in my head in terms of this specific topic, and I'm not trying to like bite into your questions, but
no, it's
just weird.
These questions are just gonna be probing thought.
It's just a lot. So actually, I'm gonna ask you a question. So I'm sitting here. We're currently in Jeremiah's room right now, and so I'm looking at these posters that he has on his wall that are these presentations that he's done over the past year. Yeah. And he was explaining them to me, and of course, it made absolutely no sense to me. But he explained them really well. It has nothing to do with him; it's me. But I'm sitting here and I'm looking at these, and I'm like, "This is extremely in depth, and they're honestly beautiful to look at." But do you see you taking this anywhere further? Like, you put so much time, effort, energy into that. Where is this going after this? Like, are you passionate about sculpting fish? That's my question.
So research-wise, this was like freshman year, got cut short due to COVID, but that was my first like taste in research, but I barely even got to start because of COVID. And this opportunity came up this past summer, and this was like my first like deep dive into research that was actually interesting to me. It's dealing with marine biology and fish ventilation, which I won't really dive into now because it's so much, bro. It's a whole bunch to explain, but there were just questions that came up during the research that are like, I want to know why this is, and what's been understood in the science was disproven by my research. So I want to be able to unpack that even further. I'm always asking questions about life, which is why I'm interested in so many different things.
Yeah.
But scope and ventilation, I eventually want to be either a first author or co-author on a paper with this research that I did, because as you said, I put in so much time, effort, and energy into it. So I definitely want to be able to get something out of it. But I feel like this specific project, I don't know how far I would go with it. Like, I don't plan on making a career out of it.
Yeah.
But the
Which
introduction,
yeah.
But the introduction and exposure to me in research makes me want to do research more in the future, just because I was never exposed to it in the way that I was this past summer.
Yeah, and I think that's a really interesting point to bring up, and like kind of what struck out to me when what you said was like the exposure in it rather than the actual information in it.
Yeah.
And so like seeing, you do like doing research. You love the research aspect, and you like proving people from the 1960s wrong. You know what I mean? Like, and so that aspect of the exposure is something that, like, if you know my story and you know kind of like what I like to do within my personal and professional career, the exposure aspect is something that I kind of leaned way too far into, and I kind of pigeonholed myself. And so you're someone that I know I can say confidently didn't pigeonhole themselves. Like, you have a lot of different experiences that you can grab from. You can say, look, I've got a little bit of this, I got a little bit of this, I got a little bit of this, and you're like kind of like the jack of all trades. I'm gonna spend every single second of my entire college career on this one thing, and I've made it to the point where I'm like, yes, I'm still passionate about it. Yes, I'm still, probably gonna do that once I graduate. However, look, there's
other stuff that you're interested in.
There's so many other things, and so just to kind of let y'all in on it. Like I said, I'm in industrial system engineering, and I found a particular passion in resolving food insecurity within my community. And so that led to, a lot of different research opportunities, conferences, the Swipe Out Hunger program that's at A&T,
But like that's like a small thing. That's like something that should be implemented like nationwide at every college, campus, university.
Anyways, so yeah, that's what I found a passion in, and kind of was able to tweak my academic degree into kind of being like, yes, this is something I can do for the rest of my life. And so starting, even before I was a freshman, I was doing research in that. During my time as a freshman, I was doing research in that. My first internship was with the Second Harvest Food Bank under Eric Aft, who's the CEO. And I was able to meet all these amazing people. I was able to do all these amazing presentations. Just the people that I've met within this world, there's a true passion that they have that, I have as well.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm getting to the point where I'm like, okay, cool. If I actually want to be an engineer, I have zero experience. like I have just my textbooks, and that's the only thing I have that's going to carry me through. Yeah. I'm sitting here in class, and they're like, yeah, I've got, I've got internships at this facility, and I realized I didn't kind of want to do that, so I got researching this, and then I'm working at Chick-fil-A, and I'm working at Merck, and I'm working at all these different types of places, and I'm like, okay, cool. Let's just say at some point I'm just like, I just don't want to do this food insecurity thing anymore. What if I actually say I want to go be an engineer? I go to a firm, and they're like, okay, cool. What work have you done? And I'm like, Swipe Out Hunger. Yeah, like so I'm sitting here, and I'm like, did I pigeonhole myself into only having one option, or I'm bust? And so that's something I'm fighting with right now. And it's, like I said before, it's scary, because if I really want to continue down this road, which as of right now, like don't think like I'm giving up on my passion and everything. Like, I still truly and honestly do care about this type of work. It's just like, what if within the next 2 years they figure out world hunger?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? like what if before I graduate they just figure it out? And now
you can't plan for that.
Yeah, you can't. You can't plan for it. And I don't have another option other than, photography.
Yeah.
Like, we can,
which is also, you're really good at photography too.
Hey man. Hey man. I appreciate it. But I don't know. I I love photography for what it is. I love the creative liberty that I have within it, and it's truly my ambition. However, however, the idea of sitting here and being like, you know what, I'm gonna graduate and I'm gonna move to New York and I'm gonna shoot photos and I'm gonna post videos on TikTok about my photography, and I just couldn't do it. I just could not do it. The household that I grew up in, not to say like my parents wouldn't support me and they wouldn't be like, go do it. Like they would, absolutely, because I love my parents to death. They've been nothing but supportive to me. But just the internal expectation that I have of myself, I just could not do it. Like I could not have that. Could not. You know what I'm trying to say? Like I couldn't lack that ability to have job security. Yeah. Within this world of food insecurity, I have job security. Like I've already gotten offers to work at plenty of different places. If I could graduate right now and be okay. And now I'm sitting there looking at graduate school, and it's like, you're fine. You know what I'm saying? Like you're okay, but something keeps telling me, like the back of my head, that little voice is just like, do more. And it's like, there's nobody saying that, and I'm privileged to have nobody really saying that in my ear. It's literally just the self-imposed expectations of like, you have a full ride scholarship. You're going for a national scholarship right now. You've took the time and effort to meet all these people, and now they're sitting here and they're like,
and they have expectations for you. Because when somebody signs up for you or writes a letter of recommendation, suggests you
need to
for
execute.
Something,
you have to,
because it also shows on them. That's also a testament to what they believe in. If they believe in you, they're pretty much endorsing you in your work.
Yeah.
So if you're like, if they throw you the log and then you're like, actually, I'm not about to come up for that.
I'm like taking photos. Like, it's And so even I'm gonna just be candid. So I'm going out for a national scholarship right now.
Dog.
Yeah. And hardest thing I've ever done in my life, to be honest. And it
completely understandable.
Yeah, hardest thing I've ever done. Simply because the process shook me to my core and put me on this idea where it's like, man, do I want to be a photographer? And it's nothing to do with like the team that I'm a part of or anything like that. It's really just, the demands to exist within the world of public policy and then be a true and honest advocate for these communities that I'm trying to impact. It's, once again, that word scary, where it's like, can I do it? And then you sit here in an interview and you're like,
I'm gonna do this and this and this and this.
No, the opposite, actually. I folded. I absolutely folded. It was terrible. But was privileged enough to make it to the next step. But now it's just like the pressure just only increased tenfold, because it's like now I have campus nomination, and now I have I announced that, and people are like, okay, cool. Now what's the next step? Like, what are you doing next? Like, are you correcting your application? Are you preparing yourself for the next step? Like, and I'm like, of course I am. And I was like, okay, now your eyes are on me, watching me doing this when I was fairly secretive about it before. Yeah, and it's.
But people notice you being great. Man. People notice you being great though.
It's scary. No, it's scary. It's scary. But it's cool. It's cool being in this position where I can sit here and people do have high expectations of me. But then, we was just watching a video with Will Smith, and the dude said, you can't ask somebody advice for what you're gonna do with your life. Yeah. And just having to battle with, people put themselves on the line for me to be in this position. And so who am I to kind of look that down and be like, no, I'm just going to do what I want. Peace out.
But it's also something that everybody has to do in a way. Everybody has to look out for their own happiness.
Personal interest, for sure. Yeah. For sure.
So,
for sure.
I guess they can't really, or just like in general, people can't really like hate on you or be upset, just like anybody in general, about you changing your interest or choosing that you want to pursue this or that you want to pursue that. that also comes with them trying to give you opportunity or
and that's facts.
anything.
And that's facts for sure. But I refuse to believe, you don't sit there and you look at people around you and you're like, you really had something good going for you, and
you fumbled the bag.
Yeah. I would hate to be on the opposite end of that. I would, but once again, that's personal. Like, I shouldn't care about that, but I do. That's just, it's the Leo in me. But yeah, no. Next question, because I'm getting depressed. So.
How do you feel like these expectations have affected people on campus, or at least people that you know?
Man,
it's like the same thing.
Man, we are hurting. We go to the largest and number one HBCU. We honestly, I think A&T has this weird expectation around it to produce, the number one, to be the highest producer of black engineers, to put out the best nurses that you're going to get in North Carolina, hands down. Period. The political science degree and track here, gas. We have like one of the number one public HBCU graduate business programs. Like we have that expectation put on us, and so our students are sitting here and we're like, look, we're going to come to A&T and we're going to show our butts. You know what I'm saying? We're going to do what we got to do. We're going to get these internships, hands down. We're going to have the largest career fair in the South, and people outside of A&T are going to come here and they're going to be like, we're going to get jobs. We're going to have Apple and Microsoft and Google, and IBM and Google and Kellogg's and all these places come here because they want smart students, period. You know what I'm saying? And so that puts this weird, honestly, I don't know about any other campus because, I go to A&T. But I see that, I feel like that kind of vibe of, how we look puts us just in a terrible position because it's like we can go off and we can do what we want and then we're called bougie by other HBCUs or other campuses. Or we can not do that, continue what we want, and we're like, it's just another HBCU kid, which I hate. I hate everything in my soul, bro. I hate it.
They're fighting words.
Yeah, literally. Box me, bro. Right. But, I don't know. A&T is really unique because, there's so many different people that come here. There's so many different cities and states and places and vernaculars and cultures and styles and art and just everything that comes to A&T. And with that comes, the expectations of each of those cities to act a certain way, talk a certain way. But then, you get to campus and then it just becomes one big melting pot. Yeah. So we're having a great time together. And then we leave and we're like, oh, that was unique. You know what I'm saying? Like that wasn't what the next stage is. And so, I have a weird appreciation for the time that I do have in college, and I hope this answers your question, but I want to utilize this time as well as I can, and I'm getting to the point where I don't think I did, and
I feel like you definitely did.
Yada yada yada, but
you gotta recognize what you do,
man. Whatever.
And I feel like that's also another thing that comes with the expectations thing, because I see both ends of the expectations thing, but I personally, I like having eyes on me. I like having the expectations or being like,
you can have it. You can have it.
Because it's like, I try and look at it through, I guess, the best light that I can, I guess. Because, of course, it can add stress, or it can add this, like, oh, you have to do this because this is what other people think that you should do, or this is what you should do because you feel like for some reason this is what you should do. But deep down what you actually want to do. I just got to the point where I'm like, I want to do this, so I'm going to do this. It doesn't matter if it's in my field or specific. What I'm doing in college does not determine what I'm going to do outside of college or opportunities that I'm going to take or anything like that. And
fact. But do you think that comes with our privilege, though?
What do you mean?
Like, we are full ride students. like we're given the opportunity to say, I'm coming out of school with zero debt.
Yeah.
So if I decide after school I want to be a photographer, I'm not in debt leaving that situation.
Yeah.
Like that's one thing where
you don't have to fight back against that.
Yeah, like I respect the fact that I am in an extremely privileged position, and so I don't feel comfortable disregarding everything that I did in college. If that's the road that I put myself on the second I got here, then that's when I have to go on, because I understand that other students are not in that position. They came to school, they came here to get a degree, and they came to get out and use that degree within their own particular field, because they understand, look, I got to make this money, I got to pay back my mama, I got to pay back the federal government. Byron over here looking at you talking about, yeah, you gonna pay me in May, bet that. Yeah. Like we're in a position where we really don't have to worry about that, and I respect it for sure. And so I couldn't imagine saying well, it was a fun 4 years and it was free, so I'm just gonna keep on vibing and be a photographer. No, it just hits my ear wrong. I couldn't do it.
Yeah. Well, I'll definitely say not just be like, yeah, completely disregard everything that you did in college, and I'm just gonna go and do something, because that's like hella risk. When you just evaded the risk by getting a full ride and getting yourself through college. Because we also have to recognize that we put ourselves through whatever we put ourselves through to be able to get this full ride, which was a lot of time. High school was rough.
High school was rough.
It's like we didn't get to the point that we're at because of nothing. So,
ooh.
Did we?
Ooh.
Did we?
I won't say we did, however, or I won't say we didn't. I will say, however, I think that, we are in this position, and it's a blessing for sure, and I wouldn't look down on anybody that didn't receive that opportunity.
Yeah.
I would hate to be the person to be like, well, I worked harder than you. That's not true. I got a little bit lucky and said the right things when I had to say them.
We got blessed with it.
Yeah, we got blessed with it. I got a 1320 on the SAT, bro. like cool, but
I got a 1210 on the SAT.
Shout out. But we got extremely lucky and extremely blessed to be given this opportunity, because there are a lot of students that didn't get that opportunity, and they're boxing for what they have to box for, and I respect it. And if there's any way that I can be an advocate for you, then I absolutely will. Which is why I am so passionate about college food insecurity, because I am in an extremely privileged situation.
Yeah.
Like I use my money to pay my rent every single month. There are a lot of students that can't say that can't do that. There are a lot of students that as soon as they, like my brother who did not receive a lot of scholarships to come to campus, he said here, like, look, I'm gonna keep pushing this out so I can have some time to get some money to pay my bills back, because you have like a certain grace period, and it's like taking that into account. We don't have to do that. We never have to think about
like loan paper.
Exactly. Fastball. Who? Exactly. Yeah. We're privileged. It's a beautiful thing, and I would never, ever take that for granted. And when it comes to the idea of expectation versus ambition, it feels like if I follow the ambition track, that's me taking it for granted.
I feel like that's using it to your advantage. As I'm saying, I'm not saying like completely disregard like what you're doing in college and completely be like, yeah, this was a good run. This 4 years of not having to pay for college, when it's a big problem. That's a whole nother topic.
Yeah, student loans, man. Look.
But not having to worry about student loans and then being like, oh, well, I'm about to go and take this super risky path to try and follow my passions, which I also advocate for following passions and everything. But as you said, that doesn't secure you a stable income. That doesn't make sure that you're financially stable. That doesn't fit all of your needs. I forgot what I was saying. What was I about to say? I don't know. Basically, the position that we're in, I feel like it would be limiting to not also follow your interests and passions and dreams, because then that exposure thing, you wouldn't be able to get the exposure to the different things if you were just stuck on the one specific thing. Yeah. You're talking about the automotive industry, but food insecurity is where...
Right. Could you imagine me in a factory, bro? It's not happening.
But food insecurity is where your passion is at. Yeah. That's where your heart is at. But that wouldn't have happened if you just were confined by what everybody saw on that website when they announced who got the scholarship.
Yeah, which is fact. Which I think is a very good point because, I was exposed to food insecurity from a researcher standpoint through my major, which is why I kind of realized, like, hey, there might be, history in this. There might be a possibility in this. But I think my overarching point and my own kind of expectation and how I kind of folded in terms of my own development was I was so hell-bent on this is what I want to do. This is it. Everybody likes the fact that I do this. And I like the fact that I do this. And, people are saying, like, I got the opportunity to do Swipe Out Hunger. And people are like, that's gas. And that's why I don't like talking about it now because people are like, that was really well done. It's really cool and it's a really great thing on campus. And I'm like, they really liked that. But I really want to take their photo right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really want to shoot. I really want to do a photo shoot with you right now. And so...
But you can do both names.
For sure. Absolutely. Could. Won't.
Why?
Because if
the expectations?
The expectation. I couldn't imagine going off graduating. Going to grad school. I would like to get my Master's in Public Administration and Nonprofit Organizational Management certificate from a number of schools. Don't know which one yet. I've got a list. However, continue doing school. Let's say, blessed again. Truman. Cool. Gas. Love it here. Right? And then I'm like, and then on the weekends, I'm in New York doing photo shoots with my friends. I'm shooting for a GQ. And then it's like the effort and time that it takes to get to the point where you actually can sustain yourself off of an artistic career. That's a full-time job in and of itself. That is a full-time job. I was literally right before this, I was watching this TikTok and this girl was talking about, there's a difference between doing art for a living and being a working artist. And I couldn't comprehend what I would look like in either capacity. Because the idea of just not having the security, not putting in those 4 years when you are doing this for free, not being able to have the security and saying like, well, look, if this doesn't end up working out, will you be okay afterwards? Yeah, I'm going to graduate with a BS in industrial systems engineering. I can go to a company, but I lack the experience that I do have in food insecurity. And so if I would like to continue the world with what I have that base experience in, if food insecurity is my art, I can make a living doing that art. I've taken a couple photos here and there. I love it. I love every second of it. I love setting up a studio. I love breaking down a studio. I love doing the practice shots.
Because you're doing what you're passionate about.
That's my passion.
That makes you happy.
Show. However, when you look at what it takes to get to the point where you are both a working artist and doing your art for a living, that once again comes with a lot of luck and a lot of blessings. The exact situation that got us the Dowdy Scholarship. Come on now.
So then what is limiting you from...
Hey, my luck's running out, big homie. My luck's running out.
I mean, you got in the campus nomination for the Truman. Say you get the Truman Scholarship. Continue with the route, still doing photography on the side. That's your security in being able to impact the world with food insecurity in the way that you want to.
For sure. While
also pursuing your passion in photography.
For sure. And I'm sure there's some way to put the two together. However, I have not figured it out yet. I
photograph
hungry people.
Food insecurity.
Photograph these communities that are being disenfranchised and redlined and can't even get a stable enough grocery store to have ground beef. Like, A&T isn't a food desert. We currently live in a food desert.
Yeah.
What would I look like photographing that when I have the experience to write policy to change that? I have the experience to come up with Swipe Out Hunger and establish it on this campus. I didn't come up with Swipe Out Hunger, mind you, but just established it on the campus. I'm gonna give the people the credit. Swipe Out Hunger was an amazing program. The idea came from UNC Charlotte when I met with them, but that even comes back to, I was exposed to that, and I said this would be a great thing that would be on our campus, and I did the work that it took to get it established on this campus. Cool. In the long run, no, not even the long run, in the immediate run, what's going to be better in terms of helping my clientele? Taking photos of them or getting them swipes to eat?
But at the same time, I feel like bridging your passions and then making it making yourself into a product in a sense, a unique product in a sense. Like,
this became a therapy session really fast.
So, like, being able to bridge your photography with food insecurity, I feel like if you're photographing food insecurity, that's what differentiates you from other people that are writing policy or just doing work within food insecurity. You're somebody that's able to implement a program like Swipe Out Hunger, but then you're also able to do the research behind food insecurity, but you're also able to go out into the field and advocate for it. That sets you apart from every other person that that's doing that. Okay, correct or incorrect?
Correct and incorrect.
No, correct. Which is
correct
the same thing.
And incorrect.
How is it incorrect?
I don't know.
Okay,
but,
thank you. So, and then it's the same thing as that I'm doing with the whole vet thing. I want to be an exotic animal vet.
Fact.
But I'm also want to have a business.
Like a fellowship at ESPN.
Yeah, I was doing stuff with NFL, and that's a totally different realm. But I'm doing this podcast. What does this have to do with animals?
It's gas.
But it doesn't have anything to do with animals.
Either way. I think so. Consistently, I've told this man he's the most well put together person I've ever met.
I don't think that I am.
You could see all the writing he has on the wall with like second by second what he needs to do today. Gas. But my question for you is, okay, cool. You're in animal science. You want to be an exotic animal vet. Is that your ambition? Do you want to do that for show? Did someone put that in you? Like, yeah, you do really well with animals. You already have all of this experience with animals. You probably just continue down that road. Is this your ambition?
This is my I guess it's my passion. This has always been my dream to work with animals. Like back in elementary school, it was like community or bring your parent to work day.
Yeah.
That thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, and somebody's parent was a vet, and that's how I got introduced to the world of veterinary medicine or like animals, all that. And that's how I got introduced into it. And I've always wanted to work with animals, but I don't know somebody doing what I'm doing because I don't know anybody that is interested in the exact same stuff as me.
Okay, so another question. What's the difference between passion and ambition? Because they are different.
I feel like passion, I don't know, I feel like you can have a passion for something, but you don't go out and get it.
I feel like passion is just a flowery way of saying like I really like
something.
Yeah, I really like that.
But I feel like ambition is like I like this and I want to do something.
I think we overuse the term passion. Like I feel like we just use passion to be like this is what I'm currently doing.
Yeah.
And I don't hate it. You know what I mean? Like when I think of Passion of the Christ, Passion of the Christ.
Yeah.
Do I feel that way about photography? Probably not. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, it's just something I would really like to do with my life.
Yeah.
It like something like if you have a quote unquote passion for exotic animals, if you didn't get to do that opportunity, how beat up would you be?
Me?
Yeah.
I would be hurt.
You'd be hurt for sure. But you would find the next thing to do. You would supplement that with something else.
Yeah.
Passion. We overuse that word to the extent where it almost means nothing to us anymore.
Yeah, it's like
which is crazy. Yeah. Passion. We have a passion for it. Come on now. Ambition, I feel like, yeah, I really like it. Doing the steps that it takes to get to the point where I'm like, this is something I can do with my life, and I have future goals within it. I feel like that's ambition. Like if you're ambitious, you're looking for the next thing. You're looking for the next thing. You're looking for the next thing to prepare yourself for the final thing. You've got Z you're trying to get to. You're at, I don't know, you're not at A, so like C. And then you know the next couple letters that you got to get there. You might be figuring them out along the way, but like elemental P might come a little faster than QRS TUV, but either way, you know ambition is going to get you from there to there. If you're at A trying to get to Z and you're like, I'm going to die if I don't get to Z. Yeah. Do you really feel about that? Like that way about anything?
I feel like with the veterinary medicine stuff, I feel like my final goal at the end of the day.
Mazel tov, homie.
I'm
crazy.
Like, I need that. That's what I want to do.
Mazel tov.
No matter, like what, even this podcast, one of the realms that I want to have in my final business is to be able to have a YouTube channel. I want to have a podcast. I want to have a whole bunch of different stuff. I want to be on TV. I want to see myself on like commercials. I want to be able to do a whole bunch of different stuff.
I heard a lot of I want and not a lot of I needs.
What do you mean? I want to do it, so I'm going to.
Exactly. You want to do it.
Yeah, but I'm going to.
I'm just talking about the difference between passion, which I think we overuse, and ambition. You're ambitious. You want a YouTube channel. You want to be on TV. You want all of these things. And that's gas, and I'm so proud of you. Can't wait to see you get there. However, passion, like, you can't live without. And I think in terms of your professional career, we're all kind of comfortable saying, look, I want to do this. I would be okay with something else. Somewhere along the lines. You would be okay. He's shaking his head. Yes, you would be okay if you had a YouTube channel. You would be okay if you had a successful business. You would be okay if it honestly had nothing to do with animals. Cool. Gas. Whatever.
No.
Whatever.
It depends on...
I refuse to believe you. You're sitting here. I'm looking at this right now. Right? Yes. I'm looking at your board. I see a lot of veterinary stuff on there. Yep. Cool. You yourself are doing green initiatives on campus, and you might have a future in establishing green initiatives throughout the future, or at least connecting with companies. Cool. Gas. But when it comes down to it, I refuse to believe you wouldn't be like, well, I studied animal science for sure. Loved every second of it. But if I'm going to sit here, I'm going to create the next Tesla or my next tech company, and I can create the teams that, understand the technology that goes into it. I'm just leading them, and I'm the face. I'm the one that's on YouTube. I'm the one that's doing podcasts. You would be okay.
But that's not what I'm passionate about, though. That's not what makes me happy. What makes me happy is I want to be able to help animals and help the environment, nature in general, and I want to build a gigantic business stringing from that'll be able to touch a whole bunch of different realms.
Which once again, gas. I just can't imagine myself being so fluid and open to interpretation in terms of my professional career, which once again goes into the whole idea of expectations, the expectation of me. It seems as though you don't have expectations within yourself you have to do this one thing. You say, look, I can do this, that, and the third. Yeah. I can pull from here, and I like that, so I want to do that. And I like this, I'm going to scoop that in to the bottom somewhere. And you can do that. Cool. Proud of you, big homie. Wish nothing but luck for you. Me, personally, I just couldn't imagine it. I just can't imagine myself doing that. I can't, and I might be so one-track minded within me, and it might be something I need to work through, and I might. And if I ever do, I'll come back on the podcast and I'll talk about how I'm creating documentaries about food insecurity within the United States or something like that. But as of right now, it feels as though it's a one or the other, and one seems much more profitable and beneficial to my community than the other. It's an ambition of mine to do both. However, one ambition has expectations surrounding it and the other doesn't. So when it comes down to it, if I can sustain myself, sustain my family, if I can make the people around me proud, and if I can use this opportunity and privilege that I was given in the most impactful way possible, that's the one I'm going to pick 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Every time. And I'll probably pick it this time. And so, if you ever need volunteer hours, please come to the Second Harvest Food Bank located at 2517 Phillips Avenue.
I guess.
But, yeah. It's there. It's looming. Both of them are my ambitions.
So you got to bridge them.
You know what's crazy? I was thinking about while you were talking, which I apologize. I was thinking about it. My passion is to make my mother proud. That's it.
That's beautiful.
That's my passion. No, that's my passion. Like, that's what I need to do. If I can make Stephanie Laverne Luster Teasley and Edward Wayne Teasley the first proud, that's it. That's my passion. And everything that I've done since the second I was born has been to do that. That's my passion. That's why I can't say food insecurity is my passion. That's why I can't say photography even at this point. Within this point in this conversation, I can't say that's my passion because that's not something I need. I would be okay choosing photography. No, I wouldn't really. But, you know what I'm saying? Like, given you know, all the time, energy, effort, colleagues, money, whatever, I need it. If they said, look, if you want to follow photography, I'd be okay with that. If they said, look, you've already have all this experience within food insecurity and creating food sovereignty and policy writing and nonprofit management and everything, I'll be cool doing that. But regardless, whatever I end up doing, my passion is to make my parents proud. So what is your passion?
I just want to be happy.
Gas. See, that's what makes us different. That's what makes us different.
I just want to be happy. It's like, I feel like this is one of the podcast episodes I had in the past with my mom. But pretty much what drives me is doing what makes me happy, being me. And I like seeing other people happy. I like seeing other people follow their dreams. Which is why I feel like with photography and food insecurity, if those are two things that you really enjoy and have, I won't say passion because you said it's not passion, but combining those two things that make you happy, even if they're not passions, I feel like that would make you happy at the end of the day. And at the end of the day, what do your parents want for you? To be happy.
Make that
you could
money.
You could do
make that money.
You could do absolutely anything.
Nah, my family bad givers.
And that's exactly why the first question that I asked, or one of the first questions that I asked, if you could just drop everything and be fully financially stable with something that you could do, it's photography.
Yeah, and honestly, that was a practiced answer. Like in my introduction, I was like, I want to one day say, I'm a photographer.
Yeah.
And even that was practice. In my head, I was like, oh, it's gonna be gas. It's gonna get him. It's gonna get him. You know what I'm saying? But like when it comes down to it, my passion is for my parents to go to sleep and be like, I don't have to worry about Will.
Yeah.
That's my thing. And one of my two options, one of them for sure, hands down, they would say I do not have to worry about Will.
But isn't that expectations?
Yeah, absolutely. Which goes into the expectation piece of what I want to do with my life. Within food insecurity, my own preconceived feelings about that environment, as much as I love it, cool. There's security in that. Sadly enough, and as tragic as it is, like, I know if I go into this world, like I said earlier, like I was making a joke earlier, like if it gets resolved in the next 2 years, it won't, which is really sad. And my ambition within that kind of realm is, if I follow down that track, I want to put myself out of the job one day because I did it so well that I'm not needed at some point.
Yeah, that's
my thing. If I'm going down this track at some point, I'm not gonna be in my job anymore. I don't want to die within, or retire at least within this realm, because that means I didn't do enough in my specific community. Because it's, when it comes to social projects, if you're doing them for the rest of your life, come on, you know what I'm saying? And so within this world, the idea of, you know, putting myself through the own pressure of like, look, I have to go through this I have to come up with these policies that are going to create generational knowledge that at some point lends them to not need people like me anymore.
Yeah.
That's weird.
It's like eliminating the problem.
Exactly. That's weird and scary. It's a scary thing to do.
Yeah.
That's horrifying. But it's what I want, not a passion. It's an ambition. That's what I want. Like, I want that. I need my mama to tell me, like, oh, I'm proud of you. Like, that's what I need. And one lends itself to allow that kind of that hearing that more than the other. And so I'm willing to do what I have to do to make sure that my mama, pats me on the head every once in a while.
To me, it sounds like you have multiple passions. But
ambitions. You don't listen.
No.
But yeah, no.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. But how do you go about differentiating passions and ambitions, and then not letting them control your life or other people controlling your life? Like doing what makes you happy, no matter what anybody else thinks. Making sure that your happiness is the number one priority. What you want to do is the number one priority, as opposed to letting somebody else's voice or society's expectations or what you feel like you should do versus what in your heart, mind, and soul, what in your soul, what that decision would be.
Womp womp. I think.
Was that a good question?
It was a good question. Because I don't have a smart ass remark back. But yeah. You said what differentiates between a passion and an ambition and not allowing that to impact your own happiness?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll tell you when I find out.
The next podcast episode.
Yeah, I'll tell you when I find out, because it's really sick how, all of this time that I've been talking, I've been saying, like, I want to make my mama proud. I want to make my daddy proud. I want to help others. I want to da-da-da-da. And I want to da-da-da-da. And at the end of it, it's always like people's perception of me doing something that they like.
Like what you should do.
What I should do. Photography, even at its core, is I'm creating art that you have to like. You know what I mean? Like when you're talking about painting, when you're talking about, music or anything like that, you can create that for you. Like for you to like it.
Yeah.
When it comes to photography, it's really, really, really objective, honestly. Objective.
Yeah. I think that's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah,
I think it doesn't make sense.
I think that's a word.
Objective,
I think that's a word.
Yeah.
Objective. Simply because, like, yeah, I can like my photo perfectly fine. But if you're the model and you ask like me to take your photo, then what could I do? What can I do? It's not like I can sit here, I can take self-portraits of myself for the rest of my life. What's the audience for that?
Yeah.
What's the overarching, bag getting aspect of that?
Yeah.
If I'm contracted to do a job, my job is to make sure you like it.
To make sure that you're satisfied.
Exactly. If like you're sitting here, you're painting a photo for or painting a painting for somebody. Look, this is my style. You gave me direction. This is my style. If you like it, don't like it, cool.
Yeah.
When it comes to photography, it's like, look, you have to like this regardless.
No, I feel like the same thing.
No, you contracted me to do this. You wanted your birthday photos. Gas. Let me help you. But you have to like the photos, and you have to post them wherever you're going to post them, and then you have to take them to the accreditation that, okay, cool, I want 400, 500, 600, 700 likes on this photo. And that's a lot of pressure on me, right? Because I have to make sure that my work is as good as it can be, to have my own style and have my own flair. But for you to also get the appreciation and validation that you would like on your birthday, on your big day, on whatever you would like to cement in time, you would like other people to experience that with you. Photography is interesting because you can sit here, you can edit all you want, you can use all the lights and angles and different lenses and everything, but you're really capturing a moment.
In time.
And spreading it.
Yeah.
Like sharing that with others. That's unique. That's extremely unique. It's you can, have creative directors and you can have like backdrops and everything, but regardless, that is how you looked on August 3rd at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that is what you looked like. And so that's why I think everyone kind of maybe it's just me because I'm a photographer. Or I like to call myself a photographer.
You're a
photographer.
Like,
I see.
You don't do something for 2 years and then not call yourself that.
But like, you see photos of college campuses from the 90s, and you're like, whoa, like that they took that moment.
That was a moment in time.
That was a moment in time.
Yeah.
And they're still distributing that around, and it's beautiful to look at every single time. You look at old photos of like you as a kid, or like your parents' kid, or your great grandparents' kids, and like you're like, wow, that was a moment. And then being the person that creates that
makes you happy.
Tweaking, bro. That's so much pressure. It's so much pressure.
Also,
it's beautiful when it's done well. It's fucking beautiful, but it's objective, like.
But as long as you like it, then it shouldn't matter.
Hey, I can like it all I want. I need rent is due first.
So then that's where like the whole, because it's complicated, because then that's the whole money thing that comes in with it.
Yeah, rent's due first regardless. So, right, regardless of if I like my photos or not, rent is due. But I love photography for what it is because I do like the challenge of I have to meet your expectations within. Ooh. Dun 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 dun. But yeah, I love photography for the challenge of it. I love how creative you can get with it.
Yeah.
And just
you got full creative control with it.
Yeah, like my favorite photo of all time, the one I ever took was Sid Brower. Sid. Good old Sid. Was G-Ho. We're coming from a park or something like that. And we're sitting here, and for something just caused him to be like, "Look, I'm gonna hang out the window." And he probably won't like.
Oh yeah, I seen that.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, he probably won't like me telling the story, but he decides to hang out the window, and I was like, "Whoa, like we're in college, like we are in a global pandemic. We are in college right now, coming from like during G-Ho, like our first for real G-Ho, right?" And so I hopped out the car. I'm hanging out. And I take a photo of him. We're at a stoplight, so we're not even moving, right? But we're at a stoplight. Don is driving. We're having a great time. Cool. I took 2 photos. One of him, he's eating some Cheetos. And it was just a moment, like taking that moment and saying, like, what makes me most excited about that photo is he has that forever, and he can take that to his kids and be like, yeah, that was me. That was me. Like, that's what I look like. That's what I was doing. I was having an amazing time with my best friends during an amazing time of my life, during what we suspected was going to be a terrible time. Like, it's just being able to create that. There's no other art form like it, and I love it. It's an ambition of mine to continue to do that. And sure, I can send it to my mom. She'd be like, "Oh, that looks nice. Rent is due first." Like, so I don't know. It's complicated, and I feel like when I offered up this conversation, I had a lot more concrete stuff to say, and now I'm saying
that's not how it's supposed to go.
Now I'm like, oh, I don't know what you're saying, but
I feel like you're gonna listen to this back one day, and you're gonna be like, photography was a passion, because you don't talk about photography like you just go out and take some pictures. You talk about photography with a deeper meaning behind it, and why you are passionate about photography.
Ambitious.
I feel like he's passionate about photography.
Maybe,
but
and maybe it is a passion that I'm scared to have it as my passion.
I think that's what it is because of the expectations. Because
I'm a scary dude.
It always comes up with there's always some contingency, whether it's but you need the money aspect, which is a big aspect. It's like
massive.
So yeah,
massive.
So either that or what you
comes
should
into
do.
the capitalistic regime that we live in. That's besides the point.
But I feel like you're gonna listen back to this and you're gonna see that's a passion. But either way,
it might be. I might wake up tomorrow and be like, no, photography is my passion for sure. It's what I care about the most.
Yeah.
Other than making my mama proud It's like making my mama proud. You can't see it, but you can imagine what I'm doing right now. Making my mama proud. Photography. It's right there. It's 1 and 2, easy. Or 1A, 1B. But above all, I need to make my mother proud. Yeah. I need to make my father proud. I need to be able to look my brother in the eye and be like, yes, I did that. Cool. And go about my day. If I'm sitting here, a struggling photographer, fighting, asking my parents for a die, and I couldn't do it.
Yeah, well, that's also why you're blessed with the position that you're in.
I'm scared.
It's
okay. I'm scared, dog. I'm scared. I don't know what I want to do. And I always hate those, like, do you know what you want to do with the rest of your life? Conversations, because it's like, does anybody, like, do people that, like, are even in their position, like, actual professions know what they want to do for the rest of their life? Like, are you truly and honestly happy exactly where you are? There's a population of people that absolutely are, and blessed. Gas. I love it for them. You know, you got, mechanics. You've got, people that I work with specifically. They're like, I love doing my job. It's like, if you saw yourself 20 years ago, like, looking forward, how would they feel?
Yeah.
And they'd be like, yeah, I'm still gas. That person, I don't think is me. I'm envious of all of them. Like, I work with this lady, and she just loves what she does. She wakes up every single day so excited to come into work. And I love seeing that excitement within her.
And I feel like that's what it could be with you with photography.
Maybe. However, let's do the first.
Rent.
Good old rent.
But that's why you're in the position that you are. That's why you're doing what you need to be able to get what you need so that you can get rent paid, get everything you need to, and then what? Be able to do photography in your off time, develop it, and if it takes off, it takes off. In the future, bridge, food insecurity, photography, whatever you want to do. Photography is literally, you can use that with anything. DAP, when we made DAP, what came up in DAP? And being able to promote it, advocate for it, all that type of stuff. Who's the photographer? You. You can incorporate it with anything that you want to do. That's one thing about photography that can be used with absolutely anything and geared towards whatever message that you want to be able to convey with it. And you're good with that. You have you're good at creating an image that other people will understand.
And this is Life Through Jeremiah's Eyes.
Bro.
And if you're listening to this, and I sound like I'm complaining a lot. I do that on a regular, and I do apologize. I'm very happy with my life. I'm happy where I'm at, and so this was just like, please don't 5150 me.
All right. So tradition with all these episodes, I have 2 questions. First question: what are 3 things that you live by, or your 3 keys to life?
I'm gonna sound terrible when I say this. You're not the main character. Relax. Everybody has thoughts, feelings, and emotions, and they are. Let me repeat that. You're not the main character. So it sounded like they connected, and they didn't. You're not the main character. Relax. Try your best to understand other people's perspectives, and do your best to be. My mom has this saying where she says, "I did more good than evil today, and so today was a good day."
Yeah.
I try to live life in a plus of good with the bad.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to do bad things every single day. We're going to hurt people that are close to us. We're going to hurt our friends' feelings, the people that we love's feelings. But if you do a little bit more good than bad every single day, then it can't be a bad day. So that's what I try to live by. I don't know how I've been rocking with that recently. But that's what I try to live by.
And second one, if you could have a conversation with a 12-year-old you, just about to go to high school, what would the conversation be about? Or what advice would you give and why?
I would tell him to chill out. Just relax. I would tell him all of those things that I currently live by. Not the main character. Please try to respect other people's lives. And do more good than bad. That man was a menace. Shout out society. Yeah, shout out 12-year-old Will. Good Lord. Teasley? Nah, bro.
Goodness gracious.
Nah. What about you? Anybody ever asked you, what do you live by?
I would say 3 things that I live by. Number 1, do whatever makes me happy. That's why I do all the different opportunities that I have, no matter if they're in my specific realm or if I see other people doing it. Because I don't know any other person in animal science doing all the different stuff that I'm doing. That's what makes me happy, though.
Talk that talk.
So I do that. Second, everybody has feelings, emotions, thoughts, opinions, so always take those into consideration because they all add context. Everything's not seen through one person's eyes. What you think may be the whole story is not the whole story. And then lastly, I believe that anything is possible. Like, genuinely, absolutely anything is possible. I've had so many conversations about this, debates about this, and I just feel like anything is possible. The fact that there's a way for world hunger to be solved in 2 years, I feel like that's possible that you could do that. I fully believe that you can do that. Why? Because I feel like anything's possible. But that's just something that I live by, which is why I dream so much, or why I have these like big ideas, big plans. I don't know. I just go for it. And that's also what makes me just go for stuff. Because I'm like, why not me? If they say no, okay, if I don't get this opportunity, so what? But I'm going to try because I want to. It makes me happy. It's interesting to me. And I can try and relate it to what I want to do in the end.
That's beautiful, man.
Thank you.
I don't agree. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah. What an optimistic way of looking at life.
You got to be optimistic. It's a cold, cold world out there. The world's crazy. We live in a...
It is a cold, cold world out there, so I'm cold back.
World. No. So then it's like, you got to be happy.
What is it? Endothermic.
No, exothermic. Cold-blooded?
No, I have to take the heat from others. I'm not creating
exothermic.
Endo, bro. We just had this conversation.
You finna get blasted. You finna get blasted.
That's the end of the podcast.
Bro, you finna...
That's the end of the podcast.
Bro, thank you so much for joining me on this podcast episode, and thank you for also being a great friend. Truly amazing.
Absolutely, man. hey. Have me back on.
For sure. Anything that you would like to promote, shameless plugs, things you have going on that you like to say something about, or last words that you would like to leave the audience with?
Oh, yes. Google solipsism. 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 That's a really beautiful idea that is really tragic. I hope you don't believe in it, but I think it's a really interesting idea. And so if you ever get the chance, Google solipsism. I'll tell you about it later.
All right.
That's it. That's all I have to promote.
No photography?
You see what I'm saying? I don't know what I'm doing. My Instagram is butcallmewill, like BUTCALLME Will, WILL. Recently had a project that I worked on, was really excited, had a lot of people from Auntie.
Absolutely beautiful.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Helping me out on it, and I think it turned out really, really great.
For sure, dude.
Definitely proud of it, and I'm really excited for my next one, which should be dropping a little bit soon, but just trying to find other people to help me out with it. And so, follow me if you would like to see, just this sad kid from Greensboro
beautiful creative
follow
mind.
his ambition.
That's actually a passion that he doesn't recognize yet.
Yeah, you could definitely, any shoots that you need, just let me know. But thank you for having me. This was
Thank you
awesome.
for joining.
I did not peep that we talked for like over an hour.
I'm telling you, it's just a conversation.
This is cool. Good little vibe. But yeah, that's it. That's all I got for you.
Great. Thank you so much again. Be on the lookout for more episodes, and also stay tuned for all the special guests that I will have on in the future. I'll continue to have amazing conversations with incredibly dope people that I've met throughout my many adventures. Also, follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Through Jeremiah's Eyes for updates and more content. It would also be amazing if you could also like, share, and subscribe to my podcast so you don't miss an episode and we can continue to grow this community. Thank you so much for your time, and I can't wait to see you in the next episode for another look through my eyes. See you soon.
Yeah. It's a cool outro.
Thank you.
It's a cool little outro.